What's up, everybody? I'm Christian Stoinev, and this is Misha Furmanczyk. Did I say it right?
That's correct.
All right, awesome. Well, Misha's a good friend of mine, and today we are trying out an interview form of this podcast, so bear with me. I am obviously trying to expand with the podcast game and trying to work on that. Cosmo's joining us. He is still kind of a puppy, so he's been barking at Misha a lot. So I just wanted to introduce him. He's going to lay, hopefully, this little bed over here. If you hear noises, it's him. He's just hanging out with us today. And yeah, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, mostly diving into the performing industry and what that's been like. Misha's been, how long have you been performing for?
It's going to be 20 years roughly.
So Misha's been in the game for 20 years roughly. I've been in the game at this point close to 30 years. I'm 34 years old. Yeah, I started young, as most of us that do this have. And so we just want to dive into what the performer industry looks like, entertainment, the whole world, talk about just kind of what we think. We talk about this stuff all the time. And I said, why don't we talk about it on a podcast and kind of discuss all that? So again, bear with me because if there's any difficulties here, our producer, which we do not have one, it's me. But he's a rookie too. So we're going along with this stuff and trying to have fun, and obviously hopefully you guys enjoy it. So I'll I'm gonna play a little bit of your performance. That way people can get a chance to see what it is that you do. And obviously this is you performing at Absinthe, right? This is from Absinthe. Yeah. And so you were there for 14 years, right?
Right.
Long time. That's how I know you. That's how we became friends. So first, tell us how you got started, what got you into it and how it all began.
When it comes to, in general, acrobatics, so I started in sport as a kid. I was very agile, and I could do a lot of pull-ups as a kid. I was even trying to do some handstand. I remember my first handstand when I did by myself. It was before I was practicing. We were on vacation.
No way.
Yeah, on a vacation with my parents, and I was just playing on the carpet. And so I was like 6 years old, and I had no idea where the idea came to me. But I was like, I will try to do the handstand. And I remember my very first handstand that I was actually standing for a couple seconds, and I remember the feeling that.
On the video, this is crazy. Obviously I as a performer, I've seen it, but to regular people, like, this is wild, man. Like, obviously the strength and just the power and, I just want people to realize how hard this is, because it looks like easy to people sometimes because that's our job, is to make it look easy, but it's not easy. Okay. Even from a fellow hand balancer performer, like, this is not easy stuff.
Yeah, but thank you.
Yeah. No, but sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's just what I was saying. I remember the first feeling of my handstand when I was on my hands, legs up, and I stood for a couple seconds, no move, and then I started losing control with my hips, and I started wiggly.
Yeah.
And then I fell on the floor, and I was like, I did my first handstand. And after that, when we came back home, my parents or my dad took me to a club that was nearby in the area where we used to live.
A club, like a gymnastics
acrobatic club, yeah.
Not like a marquee nightclub.
No.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, he took me to an acrobatic club.
Yeah.
And signed me up for classes starting, let's say, September. So.
How old were you?
I was turning 7.
Okay. Yeah. So. That's why you're good, because you started when you were 7.
I started early, and then I was in sport for a couple of years until basically I was 18, or until I was 16. I was competing in a men's duo. Then I got a little bit too big, too tall for a flyer. I switched to trampoline, so I was training trampoline and competing in that. In the meantime, I kind of felt like I want to go back to kind of hand-to-hand kind of thing. And started playing with friends in the same gymnastic club, acrobatic club. Started playing with friends into creating some tricks. Of course, we are inspired a lot about performers that were already in the game, like Alexis Brothers, like Inyari. So different duos that were a big inspiration and also lead for us because we are all kids. I mean, kids,
Right.
young adults.
Yeah.
But
those are the people that were kind of paving the way. You could
yeah,
look up to be like, that's our goals to get there and do that and all that.
Because like by the age of 18, 20, you have already let's say 12 years of training acrobatics.
Right.
So you have already your skill set for many years and experience in national, international competitions. So now we are looking to weigh how to make it more fun because competition honestly is a lot of stress.
I agree 100%.
And
especially in the circus gymnastics world, like, I mean, I can't speak to gymnastics. Like, I wasn't a gymnast, but I imagine it's the same stress.
It was great stress. Like I was always really, really afraid and always very, very stressed when it comes to competing. I was tripping.
Yeah, no, I mean, same here. I've done circus festivals, and I mean, I could be careful here, but I'm just gonna say I hated it. Like I hated it. I was so stressed out. Everyone is stressed out
because they are judging.
Everyone's I mean, that is what the purpose of it is. So I understand it. Imagine being at the Olympics. Everyone's judging how your toes are pointed, if your posture is nice, and all that kind of stuff. And when you feel like you're being watched that closely, at least for me, the stress was insane. And even just again, and you feel everybody else being stressed. And I mean, that is the one thing. If there's beauty in that, I will say the beauty is that you were able to kind of make friends quickly. I felt because honestly, even when I did America's Got Talent, and you've done America's Got Talent too, we should have played that video as well. But you had a great performance on America's Got Talent. Proud of you. That was very good. But even on America's Got Talent, when I was on there and you're getting up to the finals, like at that point, for me, because everybody's so stressed out, like me and the other performers would be like, you kind of come together, because you're kind of feeling to yourself like
you go through the same.
Yeah, we're going through the same stress. Like, oh my God, like my family, like my friends are all texting me right now, and like, last week I was trying to talk to all my friends or text them, and they were busy with life, but now everyone's like reaching out, and I'm kind of like panicking and I'm nervous, and so it just creates almost a bond.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah, like a lot of people reach out because they want to support.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it could be really overwhelming and
it is
bringing more stress because now like they are watching because they're like, I'm cheering for you. I'm watching you. It's like, all right.
Yeah, and like you want that, like you want people to watch you, and you want the attention on you. But I will say, and I will say, and I mean, again, this is I'm not acting over here like we're like LeBron James or something, but I'm saying like in our level of like what we've experienced, for me, I can just say like one of the loneliest times of my life was when I was doing really well on America's Got Talent, because then it was like everybody was trying to kind of reach out at the time and be like, oh, good luck, which again, you like that, like it's great, like there's no part about it, but internally you start feeling like, oh man, like, that's when it's like, I don't want to say everyone's there for you for the wrong reasons or anything. They're supportive. Like that's what they should be doing. And no one's like complaining about that. But it is one of those things where you start feeling like, oh man, like who can I go to right now that actually like has like, that would be there last month before it was on TV or something. And in the competition world with circus festivals, I do feel like it's one of those, you start feeling the pressure of like, man, if I do well, everybody is going to be like, congratulations. And then if you do bad, like then people avoid it, like if I messed up, like,
okay.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship. But like if you did your handstand trick and fell from it, people almost don't want to, and I get it. I completely get it. But I'm like, people don't want to bring it up, like people don't want to be like, hey, saw you fell last week. And how was it?
It's like, like almost you are much more exposed if you fail than
if
you do brilliant.
Right. It's emotionally.
Itself. Like people are more attached to that because it brings, I guess, different.
Right. Like, I mean, you've seen the video, but even when I was doing the halftime show in Minnesota and I fell from like the one arm thing and I hit my chest really hard. The video's out there if you guys want to see it. I mean, hey, it's entertaining to watch, so go look for it. But
it's also part. It's important to understand that it's all part, and many times we don't want to be seen like that,
right?
Because we want to be seen as the good ones, but it is part, like it happened to me. I felt
Right.
from the trick.
It's live entertainment,
It's
baby.
like,
Yeah.
it's live, and yeah.
And for me, a few people did reach out after I fell, and that meant a lot. Like I was like, because also I don't know anyone that I can think of that happened with me in that situation. But people will sometimes be like, "Oh no, I didn't see it. What happened?" Because they don't want to like say like we saw it, like so it's kind of they want to let you lead the conversation and say what you feel comfortable with. But for me, people that reached out were like, "Hey, saw you fell. Like, are you cool?" Like, like, and kind of break the ice or like address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I respected that a ton. It really like it was great. Like for me, it was like, okay, I appreciate that. Like you're there when I'm down, So that like that does mean a lot.
Yeah, because it leads also, at least for me, when that happens, it leaves this kind of mark, like something broke. Because normally in your rhythm, like you do thousands of shows, and
Right.
they are all good and smooth. So you're used to that feeling, and your nervous system also accepts that as a norm. And all of a sudden, you lose that bit of control for a second, and you fall down, and then it breaks. And to build up that confidence and that
trust,
feeling, it's like the very next show. I feel like or performance is very important because you go through the same thing, and I think it's important to actually understand that it happens, but don't pay attention to it as it didn't happen, so you can continue and do normal. Because then I think many times people try to do something better, and it's not like it was broken.
Right. Yeah,
it was good. It's just for whatever reason. It could be whatever reason unrelated even to your technique or balance. It's just live performance. It's like happen, and with thousands of shows that we do, it's normal to make a mistake.
Right.
It's like we are not machines, and even then, machines break.
Yes, and it's even sometimes I think the amount of times that we quote unquote make a mistake is actually so low if you think about like if someone being late to work is a mistake, like that happens way more often than let's say you mess up your whatever skill you're putting into the show. And so that's where sometimes, like I said, we are trained to make it look easy. And because we do that, it kind of sometimes backfires on us because people don't realize how difficult it might be. And so, hey, look, also, this conversation is unscripted, okay? We're not following a specific script. We're just kind of going, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors, which we do not have, but let's open up our bubblies. But maybe one day we'll have a sponsor. There it is. That's good. Yeah. Typically, I think this should be like a beer, but we're keeping it healthy right now, so we're doing a bubbly. Cheers, my friend. With that, I mean, the first question that popped to mind right now when you were saying that you're in the routine. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, thank you. One of the questions that came to mind is I was going to ask you right now when you said like being in a routine was, did you have any superstitions that you maybe broke or that you still would have, or how? Because I know that's one thing that I've noticed a lot with like performers. We're tend to be very superstitious, and I don't know if you were or not. So are you?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I'm a very superstitious person like that. Mm-hmm. And I had this question that like someone asked me a couple years ago if I have any like not routines, but some things that I do before I go on stage.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm asking too.
Yeah. And it's not like I know some people like I don't know, maybe they're making it up. But, like I know some people, I need to pick up 7 Skittles.
Yeah.
I think like it makes no fucking sense.
Man, I'll tell you right now, when I was a kid, so I mean I've been performing since I was 5 years old. And I've been doing handstands since I was 10, and I'm 34 now. I must have been 14 years old, and I used to have the dumbest superstitions. Like, we would be walking. I grew up in New York City. We'd be walking in the street. You know how outside, like through the blocks, there's like lines on the sidewalk, like where the pavement is just or asphalt. and I would kind of have to like every line step on it with like my right foot. Something so stupid. And then I don't even know why that one. I don't even know if it correlated to performing. I just remember that I had to do that. And for performing, I'm telling you, I promise you, and I know this is gonna make no sense. I would have to like. Can you see this? I would have to rub my like hand like this on my right thigh, like this on my like, and it was like my middle finger always because it was like the lead of my hand. Like I don't know. I would have to rub it like this, do a spin, like just standing up backstage, and then rub it again. I don't know where the hell I got that from. But if when I rubbed it, my index finger touched my thigh, I had to do it again. So I'd be up there just spinning like this, like an idiot backstage.
That's when your parents are taking you to a cuckoo doctor.
I mean, I don't think my parents. I don't think knew. You know, like I think that was just like in my own little time.
On my way to psychologist.
Yes.
Psychiatrist.
Oh my God. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, kid? Yeah, I'm just spinning around in circles. I can't before I go out there. But it's okay. It's okay. And it made no sense. And so I would say I was very superstitious, you know, or like I still do, but I wear hair ties on my wrist before I even had long hair, which made no sense. But it was just like my little fashion statement, and I would kind of match it with what I'm wearing, which I still do. Like when I do halftime shows, I try to match my hair ties. Like it's the thing I do. But I used to do it to the point where I had to do it. Like if I didn't have it, I would run back to the dressing room, like get the hair ties and put them on. And it was like, because in my head I would be like, if I don't have them, I'm gonna mess up. And then if I mess up, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's because you didn't go get those stupid hair ties.
Well, that's almost like PTSD because technically what it is. I mean, it's not like right now people abuse that condition a lot. Like if they are cleaning a lot, they think they have PTSD. No, it's just you're a neat person. PTSD really is if it doesn't allow you to continue your function. So.
You mean ADHD or PTSD? Because ADHD is attention deficit disorder, or like ADD. Yeah. PTSD is like people in the army that like saw something bad.
Post-traumatic disorder.
Right.
Is not PTSD.
Attention deficit disorder. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. ADHD. Sorry. So people abuse that.
Yes. I got you.
So what it is, if it doesn't allow you to continue function, like you said, you were not able to perform.
Right.
That's actually condition. That's already.
Well, I had that
condition. Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I would freak out. But then, like, as of not that recently, but like let's say 2018, when I first when I first moved to Vegas, I was working here, and then I just made it a point to like, I don't know what changed. But I just was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to rely on these stupid, like, mental, like, superstitions. So I purposely then started breaking the mold. You know, like, so now I did, like, a show where I would put the hair ties on my right hand. And then I would do the show, and it was a good show. And I was like, see? Like, it was fine. Then the next show, I'd go back to my usual thing. But then another show, I'd be like, no, today, you know what? I'm not going to wear a hair tie. And I know that's, like, a stupid example, but that's, like, just one of them. Even as of recently on Atomic, when I was performing there, I would notice that when I put the blocks on my hand balancing sticks, I put the right one first. So then I was like, the next show I'm going to put the left one. So now I purposely started going counter to my pattern. That wasn't even superstitious. Like I wasn't putting the right blocks first to think to myself, like, do it so you don't mess up. That was a habit. And I was like, I'm going to break the habit so that I can prove to myself that those superstitions are not real. Like you no need to do that.
See, well, so this, when it comes to like putting blocks first on the right side and the left, I think the difference, you know, like between the superstition habit or performing habit. Like to me, having the habit of putting always the right side and then the left side would be healthy one.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because it's something, let's say, safety-wise. You wanna check or double check that everything is fine. So you always make sure that right side is good. It's almost like an assembly line.
Okay.
You put one on the right side. You see that everything is aligned. Then you put on the left side, and now you're good. So I think when it comes to that, some kind of habits might be healthy because it puts you at ease that Then like I said, like kind of like assembly line, that step by step
Mhm.
you're in order. So now you know that you go perform.
It's like a
everything-
checklist. Yeah, like if you're
exactly.
checking off things
Exactly,
of
like
like
a
in the
checklist.
airplane, people are like this check, this check. Yeah.
Yeah, but not being able to not being able to perform because you don't have the hair tie on your wrist. That's more of a quote unquote mental, but mental, not in a bad way. It's
Right,
just,
right. Yeah, no, but it's you're in your head. Yeah.
So
So
like I have a friend who he had like also like a good ADSD where he was always tripping before he leaves the house. He need to check the gas in the stove if it's not leaking, and he said that he was late to so many meetings because he takes everything apart.
no
and
way.
checks. Yeah, and
Damn.
so that's the real one.
Damn, and that's not even an excuse people will believe. Like, yo, why are you late for the meeting? Oh, I undid the gas. I had to check the gas. I'd be like, no, you didn't,
And
man.
before he leaves the house, he would do that a lot. And he said like, I know it's fucking safe. I know it's good.
Right.
I know it's not leaking or anything. But every time he leaves the house, he needs to double check.
You know what's crazy? And again, similar, but not to that extreme. But I almost had something similar, but that's because this one would be PTSD, I think. Because years ago, like 10 plus years ago, my parents' house caught on fire. And it had nothing to do with the gas though, but it had to do with like, well, maybe it was the gas, but like the fireplace, the insulation wasn't right or something, and it caught on fire, and they had to be like displaced to a different house for like 6 months while they rebuilt it. And so then now I almost check for fire hazards before I leave the house, but it's a quick like I'll just literally like when I'm going downstairs and I'll look at the kitchen, I'll just glance, or I'll ask Sonia, my wife, I'll be like, hey, did you check the stove, make sure everything's off? And it's like, yeah, everything's off. Okay, we're good.
That's healthy.
Yeah, that's like, but I mean, wait, so another thing, we're talking about the superstitions and stuff. So obviously that's something that in your head, you're like, so that I have a good show and whatnot. But I think another thing that people don't really take into account, and this is something that I understand when people say this. So like, look, no part of me with almost damn anything. I'm never one to be like, I'm offended. Okay. Like that's not a word for me. Like I'm not offended. Call me whatever you want to call me. It doesn't matter to me. But, and again, this doesn't offend me, but I just sometimes I do understand when people say like, man, you only work for 5 minutes or you only work for 6 minutes. That's what people say to performers, because our performance on the stage is 6 minutes or sometimes 5 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever.
Don't say that.
Maybe Misha's offended. I'm not offended.
No, it's not offended.
But I do think that people need to be, this is too strong. Yeah, aware. I was going to say educated, but come on, it's not that serious. But aware that like, there's a lot more to it. Like those 6 minutes are the byproduct of the hours spent outside.
Years.
Yeah, hours, years, like decades. And also even the boring stuff, which people are like, some obviously would say like, oh, that's not boring or something, but like stretching or even like sitting in the sauna or going to do a massage, which a lot of times people like my wife is not a performer. And in the beginning, she used to be like, oh, you're going to PT? That sounds fun. And then I'm like, fun? I'm damn near holding back tears. This hurts. Like, I'm crying. Like, it ain't no massage. PT is hurt. Like, I'm like in pain. So, what would you say to those people as far as like, because especially you, like, I take care of my body and, I kind of watch. But not to the level, you were really good at that. I tip my hat to you with the respect for that, because for me, I'm not like, I still have my guilty pleasures. And I mean, now I'm getting a little bit older. So now I've definitely realized like, dang, I can't, eat like crap so often, but I'll still like last night, I went to the movie theaters. I didn't watch a movie at the movie theaters, but I went there to buy popcorn to bring it home so then we could watch a TV show. Yeah. Oh no, I like the movie theater popcorn, and yes, I am weird. I do that. So I went to the movie theater just to buy the popcorn to come home so I could have it for the last 2 episodes of this TV show that we're watching on Netflix. So I watch what I eat and what I take, but not as much as you. So go ahead. What would you say to people that think that?
When it comes to the 5 minutes, it happens.
Yeah,
like it happens frequently among the people that have never been actually, I would say, active in their life. Like they've never trained anything. So it comes simply because they don't understand the process.
Right.
Typically, like at first I would laugh at it and kind of like nod. It's like, yeah, I mean, kind of do. Yeah, I'll work 5 minutes, but at the same time, like you said, it is only byproduct of all the hard work we've done before that. Like they see the product of our work. This is not we don't work, let's say, the 5 minutes. This is the result of our work
Correct.
that we have done before that. For example, how long did it take you to learn handstand?
Yes, like a year just to do a regular.
Okay,
It took you said 5 minutes. It's the first time you just were natural.
like that. So you got 1 year to learn how to
Just do a handstand.
Just do a handstand. So now
Another year just to do a one arm.
Now complete 5-minute act.
Yes. Yeah. The 5-minute act can't be just a 5-minute handstand. That's
Yeah.
boring. People are going to be like, all right, you're just not
Transition.
moving. You're not doing anything. So, which to tie it back real quick to America's Got Talent, one of the things that I always thought on AGT was that variety acts like us were always at a disadvantage.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you think about it, like a singer, which would be obviously welcome on AGT, they have a lot of singers, but a singer could come in, and if it was an opera singer and they in the semifinals sang opera, and now they were like, for the finals, the opera singer's back and sings a different song in the finals in opera. No one's like, hey, well, in the semifinals, you sang opera. How come you didn't sing a pop song in the finals? And it's like, well, because I'm an opera singer. Like, that is what I do.
Yeah.
And so with us, I always felt like we have that pressure of like, if we're hand bouncers, or if you're a juggler, or if you're a wire walker, or other variety acts, a lot of times like, oh, well, that looked like the same that what you did last week. And it's just that, again, I am not blaming people that do that because people just don't relate. But it is me, obviously, for people watching. Hopefully you can now understand what goes into it, because I do think a lot of it is like, listen, I love Post Malone. If I'm showering and I'm blasting Posty, I'm singing in the shower. So like, I know that I can't sing good, like
in the shower.
Yeah, I'm just saying like it ain't good. Like I like Drake, but I'm like, I can't rap like that because I'm saying I relate. But people sing in the shower, or they sing in the car, or dancing in the mirror. So they know like I'm not capable of doing it at that level. But ain't nobody really trying handstands every other day in the shower. And if they are, then something's going on. But I'm saying like, you know what I mean? So I think people don't relate. Like they don't know to understand how difficult it is. And that's a huge disadvantage on like a show like America's Got Talent.
Yeah, the relatability is a big factor also when it comes to why it's not as popular, quote unquote. And yes, I totally agree. The singers have in that sense advantage, and also for variety acts, we do our act, and then next week or next time we perform, they expect to do as new tricks, new stuff.
Right.
And if you repeat a trick, then they might say, "Oh, we've seen that," or someone else did that. Okay, now let's twist it to the singers. How many singers in AGT or out there in general?
Yeah.
How many singers sing their original songs?
Right. Well,
they are all singing hits.
Right.
That already trigger certain emotions.
Correct.
That are already good. If they perform that song good, is essentially
you're giving credit to the original singer. Saying.
Yeah.
I mean, well, one thing I will say to defend them in a way, the reason I think most pick popular songs is for the relatability. Is because I know when I sing this song, the people at home are going to be like, oh, I love that song, which means now I love this person. Let me vote for them because I love that song, which is smart. I'm not knocking it. Like, absolutely. But to your point, when you're like, they expect a new trick, if, let's say, a Mariah Carey type that, I don't know singing like this, but she hits the high notes. That is her trick, let's say, that she can hit the high note. So it would almost be stupid for her the next week to not do the same trick and hit the high note. Yeah. And when she does it again, people aren't like, last week you hit the high note. This week, why did you hit the low note? And it's like, well, that's not my so
they will still love it, and it's great.
And they will love it, and they should, yeah. But it's the unfair.
Yeah, because when we learn
it is what it is.
Trick that took us years to develop, to practice, to master, why shouldn't we be able to perform it? And it's like, right, this is my main trick. This is what I'm the most proud of.
Right.
But but then people are like, nah.
We saw it last week. Yeah. It's like, oh my God. So, all right, well, give me 5 years. I'll come back, okay?
Yeah.
Can I hold my spot for America's Got Talent season 35? I'll come back and then I'll have a new trick for you. So, like, because it takes me 5 years to make a new one. So,
even comedians is much, quote unquote, easier
right.
to get the new joke, to come up with new joke than to practice new trick.
Right.
And also like when it comes to being able to relate to performance. So yes, smart choice is to pick a right song to sing.
Right.
People know that people can sing along, and also people relate to it because of the popularity of it. So now that's why also the other sports, let's say football, basketball, is much more relatable because it's much easier. The entry point to a sport is easier to start in a way. So kids can pick up a ball and throw and kind of get into the hoop, or kick it and get it to the goal. You cannot do that with acrobatics, with variety. You cannot play around safely, and you
almost I mean you shouldn't, but no one can just like from zero
just do backflip.
Try. That's what I was gonna say. Just try it back. Like they can, but most likely it's not gonna end well. So like they don't. So they don't, which is smart. Don't do that.
So you just simply don't do it, and then it pushes that sport further back because it's easier, safer to get the ball and get some coordination and play, and you have also instant reward, but because you're gonna throw that ball, get in the hoop, and you're happy because you did.
Yeah. Or miss the hoop, and then you're like, man, that guy's really good because he makes it in the hoop. But you tried it. Yeah. The key is that you were able to try it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the disadvantage of variety acts, that
100%.
You have to really commit to it to be able to get to entry point.
Right.
Like we said, like it took 1 year to learn handstand, and what is handstand in the gymnastic world?
Right. It's like step one.
Step one.
Right.
But there's to step two. You still have so many other tricks.
Like I would say, like gymnastics. Obviously, it's not really a professional sport because the most professional is the Olympics. I would say, but yeah, like if someone went there to the Olympics on the balance beam and just did a handstand for 30 seconds, they'd be a disaster. People would be like, "What's going on here?" Honestly, if it was like 5 seconds of a handstand, I think people would be like, the judges would look at each other like,
okay, so because in sport actually you do the handstand and they count 1, 2, 3, next, and then you have to switch the trick. Yeah, transition, do other things. So
people would think something went wrong with the person. They'd be like, "Are they all right?" Like, because they're still upside down, just in a handstand. What's going on here?
He froze.
Yeah.
So in a way, that's why like the.
I hope people watching aren't feeling like this in this conversation because Cosmo's out and he's asleep.
He got tired from barking.
Yeah, he was barking too much.
He's still checking me out.
But so, question for you now. Obviously, you've performed how many years? You said close to 30 or 30?
No, performing would be it's gonna be 23 about like. Yeah, around 23 right now, let's say.
Do you have, people ask me this, so I figured I'd ask you this. Do you have a favorite moment, performance that you, excuse me, it's the puppy, that you like value? Or like if you only were allowed to put one video up on like, you know how in people's houses there's like photos, but now there's like video. But it could loop a performance. Which one do you think you would have up?
Oh man. At each step of my career, I would have different video as my, let's say, biggest achievement or the reason why I like the video so much. Most of the time I would be putting just my most recent videos.
Yeah.
So I would say most likely the performers I'm kind of most proud of is the America's Got Talent.
Okay.
Look
them up. They were the bodyguards, right? On AGT. Also YouTube that.
Yeah.
Good clip.
And that's not to take away anything from beautiful 14
Yeah,
months
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
I had at Absent.
Well, I mean, and you've worked other stuff before
Yeah.
when you were younger
It's just-
too. So you guys, yeah,
Right. The reason why I would like that the most is because I had the most time to work on my physique.
right.
So which takes much more time to create the body that we wanted. I started 15 years ago.
Right.
So it's a long journey to get to the point where I was, and so that's why I would say that video one is great recorded. It's from TV.
Mm-hmm.
We had phenomenal response, which I also
Right, yeah.
we love, and I'm very proud of. We look great. We performed really good. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of it, and probably that would be the video that I would put in
Okay.
the look. It has. I like the way I look. I like the response. I like the editing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, AGT did a good job too, putting
Yeah.
it together, the story.
Right.
Yeah,
and we had phenomenal response, really overwhelming, and we are walked together with Lucas. We are really really overwhelmed with the positive response from.
Yeah.
So I would put that, but if I had video like that done of me performing in the Absent, perhaps I would have.
yeah.
So that's the thing.
Yeah, like the quality. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys, the mystique. Because I remember the video, you didn't really say much before you guys started performing,
Right.
so it kind of left it up to like it almost had the judges not knowing what was coming, right?
Yeah.
So it was like the mystique was done right. Then you guys performed. You blew it out of the park. People loved it, standing ovation, and then obviously then you got to speak to the judges and you get the 4 yeses, and it's obviously great. So,
but it was because I did love the stage at Absent.
yeah.
I really like it. I feel very comfortable. And I had so many phenomenal performances.
I mean, you're biased because you worked there, but as someone, I'm saying as someone that watched you years ago, and I also think you're pretty realistic. So I'm not saying you're biased like that. You're not blindly biased, but I mean, obviously, like you were the one performing, so you're gonna love it. But I'm saying, as someone that wasn't on that show and saw it, 7 years ago, you guys were, I mean, I don't know how the elegant style in which you guys performed the act, and can't find a word, but ultimately it tense. Like it was tense when you guys were on stage because the people, that's what I'm saying. You transcended a way to show people like, yo, this is really hard because you guys moved in a way that made people pay attention to everything. Obviously, you guys, your bodies show like every muscle's moving and people can appreciate that. And as a show, I mean, Absinthe, to me, when I first got in 2018, Absinthe was the best show on the strip. I thought, I mean, it was getting standing ovations every time. It was just, hands down, every act was like a top act in the show. And so what I'm saying is I can agree and second to that you guys rocked that stage in the way that I'm saying, like, Absinthe had it. Like at that time in Vegas, again, this was what, 7-8 years ago when I first moved here. And I remember, like, I could be, me, I love sports, and I rarely will miss like a Vikings game on a Sunday. And I probably still would have watched the Vikings and not gone, but I'm saying there was a small chance that if I got invited to Absinthe 7 years ago, I might have been like, all right, I'll go to the show. Like if I have to miss the first half, I'll miss it to go see Absinthe because it was that
just watch it on the phone.
Yeah, and maybe I'll check the updates. Yeah. But yeah, man. So ultimately, again, you've been in Vegas here for a while. 15 years. I've been in Vegas now, going on 8 years. We both met our spouses here. We're married now. One of the things that we do talk about often, off camera, and we'll talk about it now a little bit here. We'll probably do another 15 minutes or so. That way we can make sure that we're doing this right. And then if the people like it, we'll do another podcast at some point again. But one of the things we talk about is how, with especially the younger generation now, and how we got lucky that your wife, my wife, they're not performers, which I think in a way has its challenges, but also has its perks and made it almost easier for the relationships to work out. Because what people that aren't in the industry maybe don't understand is, I think dating in the industry is really difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Serious dating, obviously, we're talking here, because I think we are essentially And I feel like mostly everyone, I can't think of someone that's not an independent contractor. Obviously, there are people that have like, we've had the 1 year deals on the show and stuff, but even that, it's a 1 year deal. You know, it's not like, and again, people that work at a State Farm office or at Sam's Club, like, obviously theirs is not a 1 year deal and they could lose their jobs in a month. You know, there's nothing's guaranteed in this life. We understand that. But you have a timeline in the performing world where you know when that contract is ending. And I think that makes it really, some of the challenges are just how difficult it is that, you know, you might get a contract and it's also worldwide. You know, you kind of go where the work is. And so you could have a, 6-month contract in Europe and maybe you find the person of your dreams out there and then, in 5 months, you're not going to stay there. So in your mind, you're already thinking like, what are we doing after? Like, are you going to move with me? And what if that person has their own career? And it just, people, I think, just don't think about this. They don't, I'm sure people in the industry discuss it.
Keep it in
they discuss it, but it is something that I think we are very aware of and talk about a lot. Where with us, and like for example, for me, my wife, she was working at the restaurant that was next to Opium. And I already feel like I was kind of a outcast in the performing world. I grew up in the circus family. I grew up in the circus world where everyone around me was circus until I went to college. And then in college, I loved it. I loved that I was able to talk about sports with all these people. I was able to go play basketball whenever I wanted. I had more of a regular life. And, and I already had, like, I liked that kind of stuff. Like some days I did want to just watch football all day instead of doing 2 shows or 3 shows on a Sunday because that's people's weekends. That's where people want to see it. And that's the tough part of the industry. And so for me, I thought that was big that able to find Sonia, obviously, that, on our days off, I wanted to go to the movie theater. I wanted to do something that had nothing to do essentially with the show. Cause that was my life 24/7 all the time. And so I imagine with you, it was probably a little bit similar that you were able to find somebody that kind of was able to be, your best friend and pull you away from that a little bit.
Yeah. I grew up not in a circus family, so I also had more like a regular
upbringing.
Regular childhood, you can say. But yeah, the difficulty when it comes to performing and having your significant other also as a performer is also, are we doing act together or separate? Because if, let's say, one is trap artist and the other one is hand balancer, then that raises more difficulties and challenges because the show might need this act but not that. And of course, it's always, people always try to like, hey, I get a contract here. Would you like another act, like my wife or when he does this?
They try to bring their spouse's act along with them.
We can have also, we can give you 2 acts, let's say. If that happens, great, but it's not the rule. And then so one person works and the other, okay, so instead of staying home, I'm going to look for a contract too. And they go there and maybe timeline doesn't align well. So this one comes back home after the contract and the other one still has to stay somewhere else. And it complicates the logistics of the relationship. So that definitely
and I think
makes it more difficult.
And I think for people that obviously maybe just haven't thought about this, like
time zones.
Well, time zones, and also, I work with people that they're like, oh, my wife is in, Europe or Asia, and I have to at 2 a.m. be able to Skype with them or Zoom with them so that I can see my daughter. And it's like, that's the reality of the business, but it's just, for an industry with, especially I'm talking like old school circus. Like when I grew up, it was like the circus is a family, where like you are all traveling together, you're all living in the same little area. If my parents were somewhere and I was doing something no good, the other performers could yell at me. They could discipline me and be like, no, you're going home right now. Like they had every right to do that because we were like this big family. Yeah. So we all took care of each other. Like, and that's the beauty of it. 100%.
I had that a little bit in sport as well.
Yeah.
So that feeling, and it feels very comforting, and I'm still in touch with most of my friends in Poland
Yeah.
that I grew up with, that we were just like that we're taking care of each other. And they know me since I'm a kid, and also when I got older, I remember other ones as a kid and as they were growing up. So, and I think it's beautiful.
We have to redo this a little bit because the camera was overheating, but we're back. We're back. So,
Camera got tired.
yeah. So, all right. We'll talk about with dating. Continuing with that conversation in the industry, I think one of the things too that people don't think about is when you are off, essentially when it's a holiday or you weekends, is actually normally the busiest time for the entertainment industry, right? Because we're there to entertain people when they have the free time to be entertained. So with that being said, I mean, a lot of holidays are missed. I mean, pretty much, I mean, I'm sure you've worked a lot of holidays, if not all.
Yeah, even basically, like you said, it's the busiest time. So it's assumed, and also when I was getting into that, I knew that the holidays are the time to make money.
Right.
Especially like New Year's Eve, Christmas, all those celebrations, the big events are the times where you actually go on the contracts and benefit of it. So you sacrifice time with your family, even like your services your family at that time. So you go and do the Christmas with them, let's say after the show.
Right.
But if it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. Like also being under contract, I had specifically blackout dates. These are the times for Christmas.
You can't request a day off.
So that adds, and of course, like I knew I'm signing up for that, like being back in Poland, I knew that these are the times when you do work, and when people party, that's when you work. But then it goes the other way. When people work, you party.
Right. Yeah, which is like, I mean, and that's all entertainment. It's not just art form. Like singers, like, concerts are on the weekends, like on Christmas Day, like the NBA has a lot of games because people are home, so they're watching. Thanksgiving, football's full of games, and that's all entertainment. But I do think it's the funny thing about circus is it's very big on family, but at the same time, it kind of contradicts itself because all the things you're supposed to do with family, you're prioritizing work over family. So that's the like ugly side of it too, that it's not even just immediate family and holidays. It's that we're under this pressure usually in this business to work because you have a contract that is up in 6 months. What are you going to do after the 6 months? So you're constantly on the lookout for it, and you almost have commitment issues. Right. If you have a friend, I mean, luckily you were at my wedding. Thank you for being there. I wasn't closer. I didn't know you at the time when you had yours. Otherwise, I'd be there. But I'm saying, if you have a contract that's up in 3 months and your buddy's got a wedding coming up in 5 months, you maybe are going to say like, yeah, I'll be there. But then if you get a contract, and most people, which is I'm not trying to blame people because you got to do what you got to do to put food on the table. But at the same time, like, damn, like, it's like someone
you can't guarantee.
Yeah, you can't guarantee. And I think that's the ugly side of it, where it's like, all these big moments in life maybe that you should take part in. Like, people have a best friend that they've known for 20 years and they're having their wedding, but they got this amazing work opportunity. And it's like, oh man, I just got this new contract. It's with this company that I really wanted to work with. And I just started, I can't leave. And it's like, I get it. But at the same time, that's just the reality. That's the ugly side of the industry. And that's the side that I think people don't think about when you're in it. I mean, again, it's like you probably, if it hasn't happened to you, you've probably known someone that's had to bail on someone's wedding, someone that's had to bail on someone's birthday party, someone that's like had to be away from their family for the holidays. Like that happens so much. And I think that's the sad part. And again, like with us, we've been lucky that our spouses aren't in the industry. So in a way, they've had to make that sacrifice of being able to kind of work with our schedule. But it is unfair for us, even sometimes I think about it, to expect that from them. Like, I'm like, damn, like, that's tough. My wife, she's big on family and with her family, and they have traditions and things that they do. And I mean, I've said this to you and all my friends, and I don't care to say it. Like, our biggest fight ever was on a vacation because it was our first vacation. which in turn was kind of my very first vacation because I wasn't used to taking vacations. Because I'm like, no, you don't take time off. Like if you can work, you work. And I was so stressed out. I was almost miserable on this vacation because I felt this pressure of 20 years in my life. I've put off vacations and fun times and a trip with friends because I got to work or I got to, keep those days available in case an opportunity comes up.
Right.
And that I wasn't able to enjoy it. And, I feel like in that particular trip, Sonia put so much effort. She like got us this cruise and all this. And I was on the cruise and I was like, I was sitting there like grumpy. Like she got so mad. My God, thank God I survived that. But she got so mad, understandably so, because she was like, yo, man, like you got to enjoy your life too. Like it can't just be work. And, and that really was a wake up call for me where I almost had to, maybe the word is mature, and I had to kind of just see it of like being like, damn, you're right. Like I've let all these years of my life pass me by where I was kind of, if the cards played out right, then I would enjoy a trip, or if the cards played out right, then I would go here. But it was like,
I think it might be related to the fact that maybe when you're single and a performer, then you prioritize work,
right?
To kill time, whatever. But now that you were in a relationship, she wanted to have that time with you,
right?
But for so long, it happens in general to people. Let's say when they are too long single, and it's harder to date them because they have already their habits, right?
Yes.
So in relation to that, your mindset was into work, so that's why it was hard for you to not to work because your priority was set work.
Right.
And it kind of shifted into relationship. That's the priority. Work is of course very important, but now okay, there is also this other thing.
Right.
Well,
to bring it full circle, kind of, that's the part where I was saying earlier, we're lucky and I'm thankful that our spouses were almost in the industry, because I do think, at least for me, I was way too kind of stuck in that mentality of like work, to the point where if I would have met someone else that was like that, and that would have been my person, we would have never, like, I feel like, crossed paths, because I would have been like, oh, I got to work here on Christmas, I got a gig here. And she might have been like, oh, I got a gig here. See you later. And then it's like you spend Christmas apart.
And you stay boxed kind of in that mindset, which is not necessarily bad. It's just now you're able to experience a little bit different side of life in a way.
Yeah, I'm not going to go as far as saying it's bad, but I do think that for me, at least, I'm like, if you're in a relationship with someone, the idea is like you enjoy being with that person. So it's not about saying that. For me, I'm not trying to say it's bad. I'm trying to say like it's unfortunate that you're missing out the good times with your best friend, with your person. And so to me, like I said, that was really eye-opening for me when we went on that first cruise years ago. And I'm glad that I, like, essentially when I say like survived that, I mean like, because I needed that, and I'm glad that like we had that to kind of realize, like,
to break that.
Yeah, to wake you up, to be like, yo, man, like, would you rather be working on these holidays, or would you rather be with the person that you love the most and you have the best time with? And again, you have to obviously be in a position where you can afford to do that and all that. We understand that part, but it is something that the mentality, just the awareness, I think that a lot of people aren't, when we're in the industry, like before I met Sonia, I was never even thinking about this stuff. I was never aware of like, oh, Christmas, like if I have kids, am I going to take a gig, or am I going to be with my kids for Christmas to watch them open up their gifts from Santa, or whatever the tradition is going to be? And so those are things that obviously as we get older, we start to think about. And I think that that the industry, that is a huge challenge in the industry to, managing the time and the work and having that work-life balance.
And I think, and also depending on the position in the industry, let's say, because as performers we have to perform, but I would say people at the office, they still have that chance to spend that time with their family, to see their kids opening gifts and stuff like that. I think many of them also, if we are performing, they have to be in the show also to run the show, to run the lights and stuff like that, so they are directly involved. But there are some people in the office that are not necessarily can say needed for that time. So they are able to get back home a little earlier,
Right.
To get that time with the family, which we don't. We have to be there beginning to the end.
And I think for me, at least, the one thing last on this topic is that it's not even as small as one day for Christmas or one day for your birthday or one day for New Year's or Thanksgiving. I think it's the challenge becomes the big picture where like we live in Vegas and there's a lot of shows here and stuff. And obviously there's a lot of performers that live here. But this is like the only place that is like that. This in Orlando, I would say in the US, that's kind of like stable. And even stable is not stable. You know, like shows close, you know, people's contracts run out. They have to go somewhere else. And I think just as a career, it's really tough to do that because, you know, a lot of people want to go do the festival in Monte Carlo. And if you go there and you knock it out of the park and you do great, guess what that's going to present you? Offers in Europe more than likely. And so if you have a spouse or a significant other that's here in Vegas with you, you do that festival, have you thought about like, man, if I get work in Europe now for a 6-month contract, am I taking that and leaving my best friend back there? Is my best friend going to come with me? Like, and those are things that are, again, Christmas is Christmas. You know, people sometimes, you know, there's essential workers that have to miss holidays too. It's not even just entertainment. So like, that is more common. I'm not trying to like cry a river here about like entertainers that we don't get holidays together, but it's just a bigger picture of the industry that it's a very it's hard to be stable in one place.
Yeah, and so with that, even to tie it up, even that like essential workers. Let's say, well, this Christmas I won't be able to be for Christmas home because I gotta be at work. But then the next year you might be able to get that time off.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
like, okay, last year I wasn't, but this year I will be. So for us performers, especially me coming from outside, from Poland to a foreign country and staying here for many years, I've been here 15 years, and let's say just on that's how many Christmas I miss with my family.
All of them. Yeah, because you've been here. Yeah.
But then before that, it's not the first time that I miss Christmas. Like since I started performing, I had to keep in mind I'll be missing Christmas, so I haven't been with my family. Of course, Lupita is not my family.
Right. Yeah.
But in Poland, I haven't been with them. Or from perspective of my parents, more they haven't seen me on Christmas for over 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
like for me. Yes, I have my family, but for my parents, not having their child on the Christmas for over 20 years, it's harder.
Right.
And probably with age, it gets harder on them.
Of course.
As it is for me, because it's like, in a way, like, I would like to spend that time also with my family there. And so that's also another side of that performing on holidays. That, people don't realize when we speak about sacrifice, like, to miss Christmas, or, you know, or to work on the holidays, that's one. But putting that in a bigger perspective, that throughout the years, you miss every single holiday. And that's where people break. Right. Many people break down. It's like, you know what, I can take it. So let's say 3-5 years and they quit performing because they do prioritize and they need to go back to be with their family. Yeah.
Not even to bring it up again, but same thing. That's why exactly what you just said. When I'm like, I survived that, or we survived that with Sonia, like that first cruise, is because to me, I'm like, it would have been very easy for me to be like, you know what, like, we don't have the same interests. Like, I'm trying to work and you're trying to have a vacation. Or like, she could have been like, I can't do this, you know, like with you being like so work centric. But like, we worked through that. It woke me up and I was able to kind of like get through that difficult hurdle. And that's what I'm saying. It's difficult to get through that. And also, I mean, being realistic, it's also, you know, you also got to be in a position to be able to kind of allow yourself to get through that. You know, like, I definitely understand that I was in a lucky position to change my ways. You know, a lot of people aren't. A lot of people have to take the 6-month deal. And so many relationships probably that could have worked out didn't work out because that was your profession and the career is that demanding. But all right, to wrap it up, last thing, I feel like we've had a good chat. We'll see what people think and what they want us to talk about. But if you could talk to your younger self, like if you could go back and see how old were you when you first came here?
I was 25.
25. So you could go back and speak to 25-year-old Misha or a 25-year-old performer right now. What would be your best advice to tell them about their path as a performer, life, etc.? Because I do think, I'm not trying to age you and say you're old, but I'm saying you and me now are like, I feel like we're older. And for me personally, I love talking to older people than me because I feel like experience is the best teacher. Yeah, I mean, hey, and I think experience in life teaches you. And so I actually tend to get along really well with older people because, I really enjoy those conversations. And there's wisdom there. So what would be your advice to the younger generation, the younger Misha?
I'd say not in one sentence.
No, I mean,
not in one sentence, but in general, I would say to be smart with money. Like you utilize the time that we have in the spotlight to invest properly to secure yourself.
Yeah.
Live your life. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy the access to the goods and that are given as a performer. Enjoy that to the fullest, but be also smart about it.
Right.
Don't waste time and money. And I would say invest early, whether it's real estate, stock. Right now we have also crypto. Invest, educate yourself, and also prioritize health. But I would say a lot of performers, especially with the acro, they are very focused on the difficulty of the tricks. Like you said, someone goes to Monte Carlo and after that they get a contract. We want to show ourselves from absolutely best way. So when people create act, they assume they want to do 100. They want to do 100%, assuming they will be always feeling 100%, and that doesn't happen. Like at best, on the daily basis, going to be 70%.
Yeah.
So prepare your act for that.
Yes, because it's not sustainable.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
And so that will help you to stay healthier, stronger.
Yeah, like you're backing yourself into a corner. If you're like, I'll do a triple backflip every show, and it's like
play long game.
Yeah, play the long game. Yeah, too.
But that might be actually good as something. Play long game, physically and financially.
Yeah.
So prepare your act to be able to perform on a solid level for a long run, as if you had to do it for many years,
right?
Consistently, and also invest long term. So you're able to set once you.
Yeah, I feel like mine would be kind of similar along the lines of like how you're saying play the long game, but mine's almost like play the longer game. I guess my word of advice, I guess, would be because I think I feel like I just got lucky that I fell into one. Obviously, everyone loves Scooby, so that's I'm very lucky about that, But also got lucky with, I think Sonia bringing in different perspectives to my life and different happiness. And what I mean by play the longer game is that there's gonna be a life at some point without performing,
right?
And I see too many people that haven't thought about that, and they just kind of almost, I don't even want to say expect it because I don't know that they've thought about it. I just think that it's what it's what you've been doing. I got lucky to go to college, and I think being around other kids that had other plans and other careers, it showed me like, oh, there's other stuff going on here that people do, and they find other ways of happiness. Because when you're in a spotlight like us, and I mean, I'm part of it. Like, I love the spotlight. When we're on stage and the crowd roars, like, I mean, I told you this.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a drug, and I've said it before. Like, when I was just at the Westminster show, I told you, like, I almost was crying looking at Milo because I'm like, oh, you did it, like that's infectious. Like, that's like, but you have to be aware to know, like, this is gonna end. Like, this is cool. That's why in that moment I was like, man, I'm lucky I have this moment, and I'm not thinking. I think you heard his name. Milo's coming into the room, everybody. Hi, Milo. I think it was for me. I don't think of it as like, oh yes, I'm having this moment. I can't wait to have it again another year. It's like, no, I'm like, I had this moment. Thank God I've had this moment, and I appreciate it. Yeah, go ahead, Marlo. Go up there. Good boy, buddy. And so that's something that I think a lot of. Also, when you're younger, I understand. Like, you're not really thinking about that when you're younger. Like when I was 20, 21 and performing, I wasn't thinking like, what am I gonna do? Like, or appreciate this spotlight right now. I might not have it, but now I would tell my younger self that. Now I would tell my younger self like, and I think telling my younger self that would have allowed me to enjoy more of like, doing life outside of performing, which now I feel like I actually do. Like now I'm like, all right, like I've been working a lot this month. This is great. Like when's my next trip where we can just like disconnect from work, and like now I look forward to that because we only got this one life, and if we just spend it our whole time. Someone said this once to me. They're like, on your deathbed, they're like, are you going to look back and think to yourself like, man, I should have taken that one gig? Or are you going to think back and be like, man, I should have taken that trip with my wife, with my family, with my friends, to have that time back? And so that's just something that I think that I would
that's
pass down.
That's very true. I bet I'll have much better advice once we finish recording.
Yeah, it always comes to me later. Like, I should have said this.
Yeah. No, but it is true. Yes, I feel like to back up my. It is. It's important to have another passion because everything will end sooner or later. Hopefully, it's later for everyone and on their terms.
Well, I was just. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but there are circumstances where sometimes people are forced to end their career for different reasons.
If people can take both of our advice together, because you were talking about investing, and that will also then allow you to be able to not depend solely on it. Because some people, again, it's not by choice. Some people might be 50s and they might be like, I still got to perform because I don't have anything else to do. I don't have another option for work, and I have bills still because maybe they didn't invest or have the opportunity to do that. And so that is great advice because that at least preps you for when that time comes to be able to walk away. But I also think that a lot of people have a hard time walking away from the spotlight because it's the spotlight. I want to be the somebody forever, and it's like that's not realistic.
It hurts your ego.
I know it hurts your ego, but there's always going to be. It's one of those where it's like there's always going to be someone with a nicer car. There's always going to be someone with a nicer house. There's always going to be someone with a nicer body. Like you're getting older, it's hard to keep up. And it's like that's just life, and so you got to prepare yourself for that. And
But so financially would be one base, but yes, it probably even more than that, psychologically to be able to be ready when it ends to be prepared mentally
and not feel like
it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Like I told you this, but I even talked to my brother not too long ago, and with him I was like, I literally said also like, hey, there's all these athletes that try to make it to the NBA or try to make it to the NFL. And they don't. And that doesn't mean that they failed at life.
Yes.
Yeah, like maybe they failed at becoming an NFL player, but now they may be super happy as a real estate agent. They may be living their best life as a real estate agent with their families, with their friends, whatever it may be. And they find you have to be prepared that that's not going to be your only source of happiness and search for other things, whatever that might be. Again, it could be any kind of career.
Because regardless of the career, the discipline sport teaches us something.
Right.
It gives us like a life lessons, even like deal with people and teamwork, responsibility,
discipline.
So we have a lot of lessons. That's why a lot of athletes actually succeed in other fields because they are already used to the regimen.
Yeah, that's true.
Which really helps for any other field, whether it's a personal relationship or business. It just simply creates the path.
Right.
So I think that's good.
Well, good.
But having the passion for or hobby or something else as well.
Right.
So when that career ends, and I'm saying not because of I'm saying like injury, like we don't.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Assuming we are.
Assuming we're healthy enough to walk away on our own terms. That's like, and that's something that I've told you this too. Like sometimes I'm like, you know what? If you're able to walk away on your own terms, like that's like the best thing you could do. It's like that's the biggest congratulations of it all because it's like you weren't forced out. You were able to do it on your own terms, and I just think that's that's an accomplishment where you're able to look back at what you've built instead of just constantly looking at what you couldn't attain or what you couldn't do or how come you couldn't perform another 5 years. And it's like,
and then when you're that bad, it's like, I should have done this and that. It's like,
and it's
look forward.
Live in the moment, live life. Anyway, this might be a hobby. I enjoy doing this, so this is a good time. Hopefully y'all enjoy listening to us. We'll some of us got a nap during it, so that was great. But thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. I'm going to post this on my Facebook. I'll post this on YouTube, which I'm trying to grow that YouTube channel as well. So,
I want to acknowledge the fun microphones that
we'll see how the sound is afterwards. But
I kind of like it because it makes it like
we're learning.
You can hold the cable like the singer.
Yeah, like the singer. We're learning as we go, so we'll see how this comes out after I put it together and post it. And again, thanks for watching and listening to us. And let us know. Please comment, so I can know if you guys enjoyed it or what you would like to hear about. Because we'll probably do this again. This is fun, so I enjoyed having you over. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks. You can plug your Instagram or anything you want to plug to if you want.
Follow me at Misha 10-pack.
10-pack, like a 6-pack, but a 10-pack.
Yeah.
And it's the number 10, right?
Correct. Misha, MISHA 10PACK. On Instagram.
Follow him. Follow us, and we'll talk.
Follow Christian if you already have it.
So we'll do this again soon. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.